Chapter 12, Phantom Blast. As Yugi fought to save Taya, the Imperial forces are busy trying to quell the rebellions that have started occurring throughout the Empire. With the Imperial forces otherwise occupied, Yugi starts gathering his army and preparing for their counterattack. However, before they can complete their preparations, the Empire sends a unit to strike them down. Leading that unit is Joey, still under the mind control of Scott. Yugi and friends are in for a difficult battle and no one has any idea how it's going to end. Red 2 standing by, all four lit and in the green. Welcome back to YuGiOh, the Falsebound Kingdom. The only person we have to take into this is Joey. So what I'll do is I'll remove Fizzed. Oh, that's it, Bakura. We'd forgotten about Bakura. I knew there was someone I didn't quite remember. Anyway, we'll put Taya's team back into action. And I'll restructure Fizda's team. So I'll also need to restructure Yugi's team a little bit. We'll remove Celtic Guardian. And where are you? She seriously comes in at level 25. That's not bad. So, Dark Magician Girl. Let's equip her with a couple of... Oh, we're going to need some more Book of Secret Arts. Let's equip her with Book of Secret Arts. A Deal of Phantom, and... she's got Night Adept. Dark Magician hasn't learned anything in terms of abilities. Rightio, so Fizdus can have Celtic Guardian. Coming in at level 10 is Time Wizard and Baby Dragon. So, Red Medicine and Polymerization. I'm definitely going to need some more Book of Secret Arts. So that's going to be Fizdus' new team. I will have to set her up to deal with grunts that come in under guns. Mai will leave out for now because she's ridiculously overpowered. Tristan's team is still pretty solid. Mako's team is pretty solid. Mako got promoted to the friendship group in place of Bakura, who we usually forget, so as we can see, there's pretty solid HP on Mako's team already. We've got some good preparations. I'll do some quick research on this, and then we can move on and take on the next battle, hopefully finding... we probably should put some healing on Gazelle, just in case. So, I'll find out what we need to do in terms of getting monsters, and then we can move on to the next mission. It will be a tough one against Joey, but as was mentioned in YuGiOh the Abridged series, he unironically uses Swordsman of Landstar. He deserves everything he gets. Joey! I finally found you, Yugi. Come on, we're gonna see just who makes it off this battlefield alive. You won't get away with this, Scott! Ow! So, we have quite a few incoming enemies. Oh, great, they're coming in hot right from the start. And Shimon is battling, but that's okay. So we'll have to shrug off this enemy attack, and they're not that dangerous. Maybe. Need to check the healers, but otherwise... well, they're capable enough, but... There's time enough for me to use a violet crystal and tear him to shreds. But we will need to be very careful because there are going to be quite a few challenges in this mission. There are plenty of cannons around. That's the main focus of this mission, the massive cannons. Now, admittedly, Mako is going to have a huge advantage because Mako doesn't care about the cannons. Mako just gets to wander along under the enemy's guns, but we do need to trigger certain events. So we'll get onto that. You know what? Roast beaver, let's go. It's revenge for Donkey Kong 64. Burn it! Burn it to a crisp. Burn it in revenge for that horribly unplay-tested minigame. Good. Dead beaver. Nice. Yeah, this one probably isn't as threatening a team on account of the fact that it basically comes at you right off the bat and you've got to be pretty much straight at your home base if you do actually want to take them down. That missed. Great. Oh well. Well, they're out of AP. We can basically fast forward this. Red Eye's Black Dragon made its international debut in Legend of Blue Eye's White Dragon and Joey's Starter Deck. In Japan, it debuted in Volume 3. Either way, it has appeared quite a lot over the years. While the Red Eye's Black Dragon is worse than Dark Magician, Just, and Blue Eye's White Dragon on paper, what the Red Eyes is said to represent is potential. I think it was mentioned in the movie of the very first season of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, which nobody talks about. It has a broad pool of support cards and is fusion material for several powerful monsters. The various Red Eyes monsters accompanying it across the game will serve quite well. While that potential does not come across as well here, the Red Eye's Black Dragon is still pretty capable all told, as it can hit all opponents with a powerful attack. Okay, so we have the... Oh great, who's this? Shimon, you want to pull back because I want Fizdus to get some experience. Fall back. Rightio, as I said, retreating can fail. But we do have one monster we need to get in this, and we complete the chapter to get it. Rightio. So, we can take down these enemies, but might be a bit of a toughie. That said, I do have some useful preparations. Oh yeah. Time magic paralyzes enemies. No healers. Not super strong either, but we'll probably start concentrating our fire on Tiger Axe for now. Alright, we can lock one of them down. No janky roulette stuff here. I think all three of these are beast warriors in the card game, but they're counted as warriors in this. Okay, so it recovered just a guard. That one waited. Wow, they don't like Time Wizard. That's fair enough. Well, if I shut down Hitotsume Giant because it waited... Okay, so we hold off for now. Baby Dragon. And next, we unleash. Alright, so... You're out of AP. Tiger Axe. Oof, that hurt, but... Now we can probably finish off Tiger Axe, and... When it's Time Wizard's turn next... Polymerization with Baby Dragon. Thousand Dragon is now our ally. So, reasonable stats. No abilities yet, but 1,000 point breath. Note that there's generally the levels of the monster, the two monsters, or in some cases 3, making it will generally sort of determine the ultimate level of the monster. But, let's see. We want to knock that out. And we should be able to take them down. Now, it's interesting to note that Thousand Dragon will eventually get a version of its attack that hits all enemies, which is fairly handy. Some fusion monsters really are worth it. Some of them, not really. For example, we get Gate Guardian, and it can be just as annoying as the actual Gate Guardian. I mean, it's easier to summon. It really should have been a fusion monster because it's absolutely crap in the game. There are much better uses for Gate Guardian that involve not summoning it, like fusing UFO Roid Fighter. But we'll get around to that. So Time Wizard and Baby Dragon will get a bit of extra experience. Hey, there we go, there we go. Now that's looking better. So, have we seen off the advance guard? Let's send... What sort of enemies are we facing? Oh, I want Taya going there. But, okay, who's going to be bait? Tristan is going to have to be bait. As soon as we leave our base, the enemy's cannons open fire. And do a lot of damage. It's too well defended! I mean, we could just send out Mako, but... Humph. It looks like Yugi's having a tough time against one of his own friends. His friendship is getting in the way and preventing him from doing what must be done. And especially since it's an opportunity to crush Joey Wheeler. I'm not gonna miss out on that. Are you ready? Kaiba is solving the problem pretty much the same way he always does. Attack! Take that castle from them! What? Yugi, you owe me. Kaiba? Ha 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 ha! I can't stand to watch you coddle the enemy any longer. I'll show you how it's done. You should have beaten up Wheeler years ago. Hey, I heard that. Shut up, Wheeler. Pull back now. Alright, so the guns are silent. Let's smack the enemy down and get a good foothold. We'll see what we have in the next one. After this battle. Whoops. So, Zombie Warrior, as we've seen from Shimon. Decent attack. Terrible HP. I mean, look at it. It's all... Well, it's all bones. It's not even all skin and bones. That's how undernourished it is. Might as well finish it off. No messing around. A blast from Gaikateno Megami will put it out of commission. And then that leaves us with Judge Man, who doesn't have very many AP. Monsters? Whoa, Judge Man. That's a bit of a harsh sentence, don't you think, buddy? Well, then again, given what Johnson got up to. And Zombie Warrior is down. No bones about it. If you're coming up against a good spirit team with a Darklands monster, you're in trouble. And basically we've just got free reign to wipe out Judge Man. which has just blown all its AP. Your Honor, this court finds the defendant, your marshal, incompetent. Yeah, look, this... Oh, nice, critical. This is pretty much torture. I think we're probably going to wind up breaching some sort of human rights convention. We should not be allowed to torture enemies like this, but if they don't have good enough teams, and you exploit the item system in this game, like, it is maybe a little too easy to break wide open with the right tactics and the knowledge of the Konami code. Hey, wow, Dancing Elf has really good AP. But that is the advantage of being a much less powerful monster. So, let's see what we've got at home. Fosten is liberated. We need our healer. Black Skull Dragon made its international debut in Metal Raiders, reappearing in several compilation sets. In Japan, it debuted in Volume 5 and was the titular card for Revival of Black Demon's Dragon. We'll be getting to summon this card soon if we use polymerization. Now, when it comes to the card game, under ideal circumstances, one would probably rather have both Summon Skull and Red Eyes Black Dragon on the field. However, Black Skull Dragon does at least benefit from Archfiend support and surpasses a crucial attack benchmark. It looks very impressive and, in all fairness, is probably a bit easier to get out than its two materials. They can then be revived by spells and traps, while Black Skull Dragon controls the field. Not a bad result, really. It does have a retrained counterpart, but this monster is still fairly handy to have, whether in this game or in the trading card game. I think it was also the first level 9 monster. Fairly strong. But Mako, well, we should be able to blitz through this. Mako may not one-round it, but we'll see. Though his team's picked up some AP since last time. In all fairness, I probably should try and discuss a bit more about actual YuGiOh. It was probably a bit of a curiosity that I got into it. I'm not even sure how it all started for me, but like, I've always enjoyed the game. I just probably figure it was a little bit hard to play, and there are lots of decks I'd have liked to get into, but I didn't really have the money for it. Which is a bit of a nuisance because there were lots of decks that were right up my alley. I mean, we've had decks like the Cosmo deck, which basically fused the Wizard of Oz and Star Wars. And, well, I absolutely love Star Wars. Even though, as I've said, I do think there are definitely flaws in the Disney era, there are still plenty of good bits too, and I would happily acknowledge that. Damn it. So I would definitely have enjoyed being able to play that, but some of the costs were just prohibitive, and then it's also annoying if you have stuff like Emergency Teleport, which was a key card of my Psychic deck, and that gets hurt because of the Dark Armed Dragon decks. It's a bit of a nuisance when a card you just want to play because it's actually good in your deck winds up getting hit on the ban list. Some things are never coming back, but I suppose as the power creep goes, you might wind up seeing some things come back, who knows? I suppose it is an example that even some older cards can wind up being really useful in this game, and things can change depending on what's released, and people will find all sorts of ridiculous combinations. Somewhere along the way, future me might have actually mentioned the card True Exodia. I think if the only monsters on the field are that and the 4 limbs of Exodia, your opponent wins the game. So needless to say, people have managed to try and find ways to give true Exodia to their opponent and win the game for themselves. Now that's half the fun with Yu-Gi-Oh! Coming up with stupid decks that are still fun with all the jank that's out there. And that's probably what I like. Oh, please, Octobursa. Great, we're going to... Judge Man is going to have like nothing left because Octobursa whiffed. No, Octobursa actually killed it. You kept me on the edge of my seat there, buddy. Yeah, Mako's team has gone pretty well. We'll have some pretty solid monsters. Komori Dragon made its international debut in Kaiba's starter deck and reappeared in the deck's evolution version, which is odd because it's used by Yugi in both its appearances. In Japan it debuted in the EX starter box, then reappeared in Volume 7. While Blackland Fire Dragon holds the honour of being the first monster ever summoned by Yugi in any form of Yu-Gi-Oh! Way back in the very first manga, Komori Dragon is his first summon in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist manga and the second series anime. Its Japanese name translates as Devil Dragon, though Komori is Japanese for bat, which reflects its appearance. Interestingly, its card art shows it with only 2 legs, but its model always has 4 when it's made in 3D. In both anime episodes in which it appears, this card has 1700 attack instead of its usual 1500. Not that it helps very much in all fairness. So, we'll have a few new monsters. Alright, Diovan's liberated and Mako's battling 2 warriors and a beast warrior. Right, there's something I just remembered. We're gonna need to really lay into these ones, because they've both got polymerization. Let's focus all our fire on Mystic Horseman. Battleox is fairly strong. It does pop up quite a bit in Kaiba's deck, and apparently it's fireproof, which is a little unusual. But we'll get to that. We do actually get Battleox much later in the game. But yeah, I really enjoyed some of the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh! I probably wasn't that great with strategy and things like that, but it was just something interesting. I've always liked machine monsters. They tend to be my absolute favourites along the way. Good. We've forced their hand and we've actually cut off a few attacks, so... Rightio, they've guarded. So, let's... Rightio, Rabbit Horseman on its own is weaker than them. Now... Kairyushin should probably top up Octoburst. So yeah, force the enemy to fuse early, because they waste a lot of AP and they wind up guarding. What are they doing? You wasted all that time fusing, and you just sit there and guard. Now, if I don't kill Rabbit Horseman, the other 2 will come back with, I believe, full health. Which could be a bit of a nuisance. So we will have to rain down death and or destruction upon it. Or magical spears and squidding. Also note, fusion monsters do not have equip items. They cannot use any equip items, so they're a bit of a risk. Much like fusion monsters are in the card game. They were generally in the awesome but impractical sort of school of things. And mind you, some of them were just flat out impractical, as I mentioned when talking about Camion Wizard. It was even worse if you had a fusion monster that required a fusion monster, because then you really had to wait. You basically had to use the fusion substitute monsters, because otherwise you were burning through so many cards just to get something that wasn't necessary necessarily very good, and ritual monsters weren't always fantastic too. Like, it's so hard to think when you consider that there are so many decks now that can turbo through fusions. They can turbo through rituals. There are such rapid synchro and Xyz summoning decks and things like that. Pendulums breaking the game wide open. There was so much that has improved over time. You look at some of that old stuff and you realise that there were still some things that just defined the game by having a high attack stat. And it's unbelievable. Like, there is no inherent protection along the way. It's so weird, but it's so fun. It's that simplicity that makes me enjoy it. Rare Fish made its international debut and only appearance in OTS Tournament Pack 3. In Japan, it debuted in Volume 3 and reappeared in a 2010 tournament pack. Now, Past Me has just mentioned fusion monsters, which listed another fusion monster as material. Rare Fish was the first to do so, and it is absolutely 100% not worth it. Komori Dragon, which we met earlier, is as strong as this card and doesn't need 5 cards to bring out. 3 with fusion substitutes, because you need polymerization and the 2 materials for Fusionist. Then you need Fusionist, another copy of polymerization, and Enchanting Mermaid, and you get this thing, 5 cards. On top of that, Fusionist absolutely sucks. Rare Fish's counterpart Marine Beast is better by virtue of not needing so much work to bring out, even if it still sucks. If you look up Impractical in the dictionary, this card definitely deserves to be there. Alrighty, Tristan's team finally gets to battle this episode. But what's the plan going to be? Since these enemies generally have good AP, once again we've got to put the pressure on. Giant Soldier of Stone still doesn't have very good AP, which is really annoying. I think basically we just put the pressure on, force them into Rabid Horsemen, and hope they guard like morons. If I actually have status effects to call, then I might be able to do something. The unpredictable turn order doesn't really help. Because they don't have healers, and I can concentrate all my fire on Rabid Horsemen. I nearly said Rapid Horsemen. Alright, we might be able to land a kill here. Or at least get very close. Don't think we're going to get the kill. Or depends on turn. Yeah, I figured I wasn't going to get that, but... Rightio. So we just finish off Rabid Horseman and we get 2 for the price of 1. It'll require patience, but Zanki has not very many AP left. It will get more deadly as time goes on. That's the thing, we're dealing with fairly easy enemies now. But we will get stronger monsters. Oof, critical! Gazelle not wasting time! Very, very nice. Very well done. There we go. Might be able to claw this one out after all. Tristan means business. So yeah, it still is just phenomenal to think of all those strange normal monsters with not very good stats and things like that dominating the game. You look at where it's come from Volume 1 compared to now. It's even sort of the end of the regular Yu-Gi-Oh era. The fact that there were so many normal monsters right at the beginning. There was only a handful of effect monsters. It took until Volume 3 for flip effect monsters to be introduced. That's just how strange the game was back then, comparatively. There are still cards, still terrible normal monsters, that have not seen the light of day. And it's almost mind-blowing to think that. Now, Time Wizard's used up its polymerization. So I will have to use Baby Dragon if I want to fuse. But I probably shouldn't need to. Celtic Guardian can handle these with a little bit of assistance from Time Wizard and Baby Dragon. Alright. The clock is ticking for you, Cannon the Sword Mistress. We'll wait until the beaver is ready to attack. Or not. Patience is a virtue. We can't break through its defenses. Now we can hurt it. And even then, it's not very strong. And there we are. That will wrap this one up. But I just want to get some levels into this particular team because having a good fusion monster, having good fusion material monsters that can last a battle is important. It's worth noting that Thousand Dragon really was one of the few fusion monsters that actually held up fairly well compared to its fusion material monsters. It was easier to summon, it was as strong as the Red Eyes Black Dragon, and just an all-round decent card. Wait, hang on. Are there any enemies? There are more enemies coming. I think I'm going to have Taya pull back and help out at the base, because Vistus is probably going to wind up getting a bit of a pasting. But yeah, look, we've seen this one. We can probably just speed this up again. We'll blitz through this in no time. Haha, clock puns. Barrel Rock has never made an international appearance. In Japan, it debuted and made its only appearance in Booster 4. So yeah, Barrel Rock is a totally unremarkable, one-and-done monster, no additional releases, which just so happens to take the role of anti-air cannon in this game. While its flavor text mentions it carries shoulder-mounted machine guns, those are A, fairly obviously censored since they're a pretty lurid green, and B, function like flak cannons in this game, which I suppose makes sense being an anti-air weapon and all. Some games also mention it using a charging attack while firing, which would admittedly make it fairly dangerous. It looks sturdy, but unfortunately, the stats are pretty iffy in game, so you're not missing much by not having this card. Catapult Turtle made its international debut in Metal Raiders and has reappeared a lot since. In Japan, it debuted in Volume 7 and in their version of Metal Raiders. Catapult Turtle's powerful launcher not only unleashes spectacular jank at floating castles, but it serves as the anti-ground cannon in this game. While it is famous for the stunt Yugi pulled against Panic with Gaia the Dragon Champion, he tended to tribute opponents' monsters with it, taken by Brain Control, up until the Orichalcos arc, as Yugi preferred not to sacrifice his own monsters needlessly in order to pursue victory. The Orichalcos influence was depicted with his ruthlessness with Catapult Turtle. Its counterpart, Artillery Catapult Turtle, summons a level 5 dragon or a Gaia the Fierce Knight monster instead of dealing damage to the opponent.
No one can stop me now! No one!
So, Joey actually comes at us with a fairly strong team. He has a couple of his signature monsters, and as you can see, generally the biggest threat is Panther Warrior. The Red Eyes is strong, but it's slow. And it doesn't have a huge amount of AP. Panther Warrior, on the other hand, is a force to be reckoned with. Like, it will do a lot of damage. It's probably one of the best monsters in the entire game. I'll have to check what their items are like, and I really do recommend concentrating your fire on Panther Warrior. Shutting it down somehow. We got no healers. But we've got a pretty powerful team along the way. We'll be able to dish out a fair bit of damage, hopefully. And if Joey's Red Eyes does insist on guarding, then he deserves everything he gets. take out Panther Warrior and the rest just fall apart. Ryukishin Powered is okay. It's not a bad monster, but it's not truly spectacular. Alright, watch this be a critical. I'm calling it now. Watch this be a critical. I am wrong, but I am healing Dark Magician. I know how things usually go, and I have to try and tempt fate. Or sort of reverse tempt fate. Because I mean, I'm glad it wasn't a critical. It would have buggered everything up if it had been. But yeah, you remove Panther Warrior from the equation, and this is a lot easier because his monsters don't have a lot of AP. Panther Warrior is a gigantic... There's the critical. Panther Warrior is a gigantic threat because it's got so many AP. And that is kind of the fun thing about this game. It's like Duelist Kingdom. The level doesn't matter, the stats do. So monsters that don't have great stats for their level but come in with what would be relatively serviceable stats to start off with, like Neck Hunter and Gaikateno Megami. They're pretty decent monsters. Whereas crappy little things like Zaragan are still just crap. But they can make up for it with their high AP. They kind of have to. Oh, I sort of forgot Ryukishin Power didn't have any action points left. It's just sort of been sitting there. But yeah, the better your stats are, that's part of the story. If you've got good stats, it doesn't really mean jack in this if you don't have good AP. And that's why Panther Warrior is so deadly. And the fact that this does give some cards that aren't otherwise great a bit of a lease on life is really cool. You get a whole range of different abilities in Duelists of the Roses, which, by the way, this boss theme is actually Yugi's personal battle theme from Duelists of the Roses. Similarly, when you get to Kaiba's boss battle, that's his boss theme from Duelists of the Roses. Because yes, we will get to do Kaiba's story. He is in the game, and there we go. There's a lot going on as it happens. But there we are. The battle is won. We don't get to beat the crap out of Joey just yet, though.
Pull back for now. We'll finish this later, Yugi.
But we do get the Red Eyes Black Dragon from Joey. So we've got plenty of money, and we have a thrilling conclusion to this little arc set up. Will we be able to rescue Joey next time? We'll see. Well, I'll be doing my best to, because we kind of have to progress the story. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, this is Red 2, returning to base.